Yes?
Sure.
Interjection. One moment. I believe I understood that, Master. It may not have been his intention, but he did actually communicate something. Translation. Result. I believe I have succeeded in confusing him, Master. We have shown an interest not common among outsiders. Translation. Translation. He is expressing disbelief, as am I, but his duty requires that he report to his chieftain. Extrapolation. It would seem that we are at least worthy of curiosity for the moment. I would much rather this get bloody, Master, but it is your call. Translation. I can translate with some guarantee of accuracy that he is demanding to know why he should let us survive this encounter, Master. Translation. Translation. He claims he has no reason to believe you, Master. Your kind have tainted this land with machines and uncaring, ignorant feet. Translation. He requires proof of good faith. We must make a contribution to his people that shows we are not a threat. Shall I blast him now, Master? Translation. Translation. He plans to move his people farther from Anchorhead, but they need to build up stores of water first. He says you must aid him. Translation. He wants moisture evaporators from the Zerka. If you deliver them, he will order that his people reduce their attacks on miners. Translation. Translation. He does not believe you, Master. We will only be allowed to re-enter the Enclave when we have the evaporators with us. Translation. We are to be escorted outside. He will wait, but he doesn't believe we are coming back.
ki mulira kung king. Tong hitwama ag itinko tune. Baba Hassan Shan. No ba muli. Chiwi aita ka tong chicha. Agi inko tune kuna mulira. Tong hitwama chiko na. Tong kipa non kunek abog. Chiwa aita kan kicha na kupornibo. Kun mulira snimo poiwanga. Tong hitwama ji human acting chiwi aita ka tong chicha. Agi inko tune kuna mulira. Tong hitwama chiko na. Tong kipa non kunek abog. Ki mulira kung king. Tong hitwama ag itinko tune. Baba Hassan Shan. No ba mulira jilai kuka. Kakincha nawabakaon. Bagwa siyang kontimachit ichuta. Yun patisa. Baba Hassan Shan. No ba mulira. Baba Hassan Shan. No ba mulira jilai kuka. Kakincha nawabakaon. Bagwa siyang
Extrapolation. This guard doesn't appear honored to have the job of greeting. Translation. Translation. He will take us before the chieftain, as he was instructed to do. Translation. He did not expect us to return, Master. He wonders if we have brought the moisture evaporators. Translation. Translation. He does not trust you, Master, but you have done more than any other outsider. They will not attack, and he grants you his chieftain's gaffy as reward. Translation. The attacks will be reduced, and he will allow you to explore this enclave, but be warned that any lack of respect will result in death. Protocol. If you truly want this sadly peaceful arrangement to continue, be careful of what you ask. Protocol. This will be a very sensitive topic, Master. You will want to be careful with your questions or risk offending him. Not that is much of a worry. Translation. Translation. He says that the fact that you have to ask, this is just one more example of your ignorance as an outsider, Master. He says you are blind. Translation. His people believe they are part of the land, living with it. You and your kind dare to raise yourself above it. You remove yourself. Translation. That act of removal makes you an outsider, separate from all that is important. You could never understand how unwelcome you are. Translation. Translation. He says that he will not master. There is one storyteller in each clan, and only he may recite the histories. Translation. Translation. He says that you don't understand. They must never be told to someone who might say them incorrectly out of ignorance. Translation. To speak them in error is a blasphemy punishable by death. Only their greatest warriors are even permitted to listen to the tales. Translation. Translation. He doesn't know, Master. His people usually kill outsiders. Since you are an outsider yourself, that would not suffice. Translation. The greatest challenge for a warrior is to face a great dragon, the largest predator on Tatooine. Fight one of those and bring back a dragon pearl. Discussed. I think he's making fun of you, Master. He doesn't believe an outsider could do such a thing. Translation. Translation. There is a dragon in the far eastern Dune Sea, but he claims you could never defeat it. Here is a map to the area. Translation. There is a hunter, a Twi'lek, that is sometimes seen out there. Perhaps he would be of some help. Protocol. We should not keep him long. It is an insult to take too much of his time, unless the plan is to blast him when you are done, of course. Translation. Translation. We are free to leave. Termination.
I'm tired of waiting, Comad. How big can this dragon of yours be? I'm going in.
You cannot win.
Termination required. Combat mode active. Combat mode. Combat mode active.
Unga kun pistol achuta. Unga kun pistol. Jeda badawana ni Dibobo. Tong nabung siya nununya. Tong patukas magtalea. Une, hudu. Rananu prata doko shirkasha. Jum na apike. Itanandayata. Wata yuma wama huhu nanagtik. Shatung ni patoga. Wanak jeda badawana ni Dibobo. Tong nabung siya nununya. Ronda di hotonga kun hangami. Wana kun bez ching palamule. Tungking ba nunotak. Tugning chatukun ne mulerabes. Mucho pakat. Kino no namapa.
star map you were seeking. I am surprised it is still working after all this time.
I do not think it is mere chance that we have found the star map here, in the lair of a great dragon. The star map is an artifact of the dark side. The great dragon may have been drawn here by its dark power, and enslaved by it. Come, we should leave this place. There's nothing else for us here.
I have to give you credit. You've led me on quite a chase, but nobody gets away from Calo Nord in the end. You got lucky on Terrace. The Sith attack saved you from a quick and gruesome death. But I promise you, the Sith won't be getting in my way this time. Sorry, I'm not in this for the credits. You're the only ones who've ever gotten away from me. I've got a rep to protect. Let's go, boys. It's showtime.
Master?
Yes?
Sure.
The Force fights with me! I'm here. There. I'm here.
Clarification. We must be more specific, Master. They capture many organics. Translation. Translation. He says that the captive Jawas are slaves and that they have lived past their usefulness. You may take them if you wish. Protocol. We should not keep him long. It is an insult to take too much of his time. Protocol. This will be a very sensitive topic, Master. You will want to be careful with your questions. Translation. Translation. You have been told that to be considered worthy of hearing the histories, you need to bring him a dragon pearl from a great dragon. Translation. He says the discussion is closed until you fulfill this condition. He thinks you are just making fun of his traditions. Translation. Translation. He is stupefied, Master. He never thought you could return with such an item. Such a thing has not been done in many years. Translation. He will allow you to meet the storyteller, but also gives a warning. If you dare to repeat the histories incorrectly, you will be killed. Translation. The storyteller will be summoned to one of the rooms here in the Enclave. He seems to think this is a great honor for you, Master. Translation. Translation. We are free to leave. Translation. He identifies himself as the storyteller, Master. He has been told of your warrior skills and will speak the history to you. Translation. Translation. There is only one accepted history, passed orally to each successive generation. Translation. A book that can be taken away, cheapening the value of what it contains. To commit it to paper or storage is to remove it from the people. Translation. history, or you may choose not to. Their history is a single entity that cannot be partitioned. Translation. The only exception is in continuing the tales once they have begun. If you leave, when you return, he will continue. Translation. Translation. It begins with the ancient times. They were not sand people, for there was no sand. The land was green with life. And translation. Though the land was beautiful, they lived apart from the land. They built their walls high and saw beyond the horizon. They dared to reach the stars. Translation. There are no words for how long ago this was. It was before the outsiders, before the abduction, before the cities fell, before the builders. Cautionary. I should warn you, Master, that any questioning of their interpretation may be seen as trying to change the meaning of what was said. Clarification. They may consider this to be speaking the words in error, a blasphemy they would attempt to kill you for. Clarification. It would appear that they once had a thriving technologically advanced society, but were wiped out by a much more sophisticated. Translation. Translation. He only understands the builders as an iconic force meant to test the resolve of his people. He is not making sense, Master. Clarification. They claim their stories are repeated unchanged, but they have demonized these builders. In their minds, they wreaked such havoc they could not possibly be flesh and blood. Obedient. I will ask whatever you wish, Master. Translation. Translation. His arrogant people touched the stars, and this sin drew the attention of the builders. The builders did not touch the stars, they lashed them to millstones. Translation. Great demons of metal stripped the world of its riches, until all that was left was the green of the ground. The great cities were lifted away. Translation. Those that had used the wealth were taken along with it. Transgressors abducted to serve past the sky, seeding the stars with penitent, adaptable slaves. Translation. Translation. There came a time when the builders were also judged for their crimes. After generations, a plague weakened them, and the time of the Great War began. Translation. The builders faltered, and his people realized why they had been punished, so that they understood the crime, and would now strike down the greater offender. Translation. They worked chaos in the machines, so they destroyed themselves. The builders fought back, laying waste to the green that had been misused with fire from above. Translation. Soil became glass, grinding to sand, but the fight was long planned, and his people were safe. Deep in cave homes carved from valley wall, they were free. Translation. Editing, if I may, Master. This section of his tale details several millennia of the long walk, their nomadic wanderings as they accept their identity in a desert world. Rather than strain my circuits on his dialect, might we just assume there was much fighting over who has the biggest bantha and move on to more recent things? Very well, Master. Translation: the tribes spread far, distant from each other, but all the sand people and all cherished the land that remained. The sand would not be misused. Translation: then machines fell from the stars again, outsiders like you that brazenly walked apart from the land. And greater still was the insult to come. Translation: these outsiders reminded them of their past transgression, of the time when they too walked apart from land. The outsiders, your kind, looked like their ancient abducted. Translation: so it is to the current sons that the sand people hate all outsiders and give them no footing. You come again, time after time, adaptable slaves to the machine. Editing. The last 1,000 years are full of conflicts with different groups of attempted planetary settlers, all of whom are poorly described, long dead, and likely untraceable. I believe I have truncated it down to the usable bits in what was already said. I hope it is enough, Master. Translation. Translation. We are free to leave.
hurry. I won't let the search for Griff get in the way of what we're doing. Let's just get back to the task at hand. Is there anything else I can help you with? Okay, have it your way.
How can I help? I do. I've been watching you, studying you closely to see what kind of progress you've made since your training at the hands of Master Zahar. You never give up, do you? I admit, I'm interested in you. I find you intriguing, compelling even, but it's not what you think. You have a great gift. You have an awesome command of the Force, and I tremble when I think of how you might misuse it. What? No, of course not. Not like that, anyway. In many ways, you are dangerous. You could be the savior of the galaxy, or you could bring untold destruction upon us all. I've seen how you've resisted many temptations and continue to walk the path of the light side. Very commendable. But I'm afraid you might stray from this path. You need to see what the dark side represents in its entirety, for it is what we battle. Only the wisdom of a Jedi Master can truly explain this, but I will do my best to make you understand. The dark side is not simply giving in to anger, temptation, or to use the Force to destructive ends. These things only lead to the dark side. The dark side grows stronger and more insidious the closer you draw to it. It begs you to surrender to it, to release all its terrible power, and it becomes harder and harder to resist. And once you stop resisting, it's too late. It twists you up inside and turns you into a mockery of everything you once stood for. I am no less resistant to temptation than any other. I simply have the benefit of training that you do not. But even the training of the Jedi might not be enough to save us. We need only to look at the atrocities which have been committed by those under its sway to understand the terrible, corrupting evil of the dark side. Millions dead, and far more suffering. What sort of person would you have to become to perform such deeds gladly? One who serves the light does not strike down an innocent. We take arms against the dark side and the injustice that follows it only. It's so easy to think that we would never fall prey to such a horror, that we have unlimited control, vigilance, and foresight. If only that were true. The Sith have become powerful because there are many Jedi who've succumbed to the lure of the dark side and joined their cause. What greater weapon is there than to turn an enemy to your cause, to use their own knowledge against them? We are weakened while they are strengthened, so we must harden our hearts and do whatever is required to fight against the dark side, even when the battle becomes wearying. I don't know. The vision of our future is clouded by shadows cast from the dark side, but I sense something ominous lurking in those shadows. But words alone cannot save one from the dark side. Come, we should continue with the task at hand. When the time comes, I only hope we are all strong enough to do what we must.
Genchopa chawi tikchok twiz yun kun. Watuyama kama wana henak nek. Bugra shak kunti chiwa chawa. Dong abuk shami no nok.
I'm Bastila, yes. I take it that you know my mother?
Bona na kachu. Kicha badwang. Wanga kum kiba bu mulera. Kakin chak nawagawa bakon. Donk kiba nukunek. Tonga buk sha nak nong.
Is there something I can do for you, miss? As you can see, we're in quite a hurry.
kakin cha na kwat na pon kon. Wana kumbes, chi pala mulek, tonki pa na nonek, tu nikton chun ke nemolek rabest, uf mala nibo kurk.
My mother's condition.
Ti umpa do punta krita. Ak ti konto una chabachisa wanki. Ti toki grantu kon chichan kun green kanchan tu pro. Bok wala no bok cha. Nichi konchuva kin lorta ikakun.
I've not seen my mother since I joined the order. Do you know what's happened? Did she say anything about my father?
Genchopa chawi ti chop twis yun kun. Watu yama kama wona henak nek. Bugra shak kunti chiwa chawa. Dong abuk shami no nok.
I see. Where did you meet her? Do you remember?
Chika don mulaka wata yumaka wama hona nek. Ashantik don unumani patoka wana kuna best chinga pala multonki.
Part of me would rather not see her at all. But if she is really sick, well, we shall see.
What?
Laboda ni winkis matoma. Wana kumbes chingpa marulira. Tok chingbang monket. Tok ninja mira rabes. Kuyavi just puna jiktanai. Ina kun marulira rachikun. Slimo patona. Mundi hadonga chihokabi.
My mother was supposed to be here somewhere. Ask if they've seen her.
Laboda ni winkis matoma. Wana kumbes chingpa marulira. Tok chingbang monket. Tok ninja mira rabes. Kuyavi just puna jiktanai. Ina kun marulira rachikun. Slimo patona. Mundi hadonga chihokabi.
We should try to find her. I doubt she wants to be kept waiting.
Yatoka ulwan kinkun naba murira rachikun. Mucha shampanpa.
Ikukuno no ba mulira jikun. Tonghit kun chunching. Takom jus dach miki grabar mogo. Kuyami jus chikata na patoga ya hulki kokogala. Ronda di hotonga kun hankami. Achuta. Unga.
Hey, Bastila, you ever use the Force just for fun? You know, a little jolt to the Force to trip up some jerk who's ticking you off?
I would never use the Force for such petty and trivial revenge. The mere thought of it's preposterous.
Oh, come on. There's gotta be times when you've thought about it. Don't be so stuck up. You can tell me.
I am not stuck up. I merely have the years of training to give me the wisdom and understanding to see how childish such an act would be.
Childish? Is that a crack about my age? You ain't much older than me, Miss High and Mighty. Just 'cause you're some Jedi doesn't mean you can be a prissy little... What the... Hey, that wasn't funny.
I have no idea what you're talking about, Mission. Come now, we have to get going. Please, do try to be less clumsy in the future.
I'm sorry, do I know you?
I'm here, Mother, but don't you recognize me?
What do you expect when I haven't so much as had a picture of you since you left? Do you know how long I've been trying to find you?
You knew as well as I communication would be impossible once I joined the Order. Now what is this about? Where's Father?
Then you haven't heard. I should have known.
Has something happened to him? Are you going to tell me or not?
Your father is dead, Bastila. It is part of the reason why I was looking for you.
Dead? What happened? What did you do to him?
Isn't this a lovely reunion? Already she's flinging insults at me. Tell me, you're one of her friends. Do you treat your mother this way? I'm sure Bastila feels the same way you do. She would prefer to be left out of it, at least until I'm as dead as her father is.
I was told you were sick. Are you actually dying, or is this merely melodrama for my benefit?
Such sweet things, you say. Well, perhaps I should tell you everything first before we start arguing again.
You could start by telling me what you got Father into that killed him.
I hadn't realized Jedi was so spiteful. You want me to tell you I brought your father here for an expedition, do you? You want to blame me for his death? You never accepted that your father loved going on his treasure hunts, leaving you alone with me. I was always to blame for everything. What else is new? So yes, fine. I brought your father here to look for great dragon pearls. He took an expedition into the Tatooine desert, and he died.
How can you be sure of that? father is an experienced...
Do you think I would look for you if I wasn't sure? They were attacked by a great dragon, and one of the guides fled the battle. He saw your father killed.
I see. So what do you want from me? Credits?
Don't be insulting. I want you to use those senses of yours. I want you to find him. I want you to bring back his holocron.
Why? So you can sell it?
Is it too much to ask that I have something to remember your father by? Of course it is, isn't it? You couldn't be bothered.
We're very busy on a mission from the Jedi Council. I doubt I'll have the time. Ask my companions if you doubt me. What remains would there be? Great dragons are huge predators, easily able to devour a human, and the desert is a harsh environment. Finding my father's remains would be an even more impossible task than finding his holocron, an ignoble end to a fine man.
As my daughter is quick to point out, I haven't the coin to hire another expedition, nor am I the adventurer my husband was.
It doesn't seem to have anything to do with what she's asking. Are you actually sick, Mother?
What difference does it make to you? None, I'm sure. Just find your father's holocron, and you won't have to worry about me again either way.
That's the kind of response I would expect. Very well. We'll look for the holocron if we have time. I can't promise any more than that.
I believe your father was headed north towards the Sand People Enclave. I would check along that route, dear. Do please hurry.
Oh, it's you again. I'll just let you pass. The boys in the office may need authorization in triplicate, but not me. Good hunting out there.
Anyone out there? Could you help? I seem to be, doomed. Hey there, thanks for stopping. I appreciate it. I've been stuck without water for hours. Wasn't looking good. I don't remember you from Faz's Club. You new to Anchorhead? Could you maybe help me get out of here? I'll bet she does. She's decided I finally worn out my welcome, and she's fixed my droids to do her dirty work.
This should be interesting.
I triggered some sort of trap she programmed. She probably figured I wouldn't be smart enough to get out. She was right. You know, now really isn't the time for a lecture. Of course, I might be more receptive after I'm rescued. Something about me not following her archaic rules for proper conduct in a marriage. I swear I never saw this coming. Hey, I'm the victim here. I'm not sure how divorce works where you're from, but this is a little extreme, don't you think? The wife put a kink in my battle droids. They're in some sort of discharge loop. And if I move from this spot, they're threatening to blow up. She knew I wouldn't know how to fix them. Did you try to do some repairs? They don't care if you move. It's just me who's stuck.
I say leave him.
You're pretty heartless for such a pretty lady, you know.
I take it back. Let's congratulate his wife.
I'd, really appreciate a bit of help. Please? Just access each droid's repair interface. You'll have to do some tinkering, but be careful. One explosion I can survive. Any more than one and I'm dead. Oh, and ignore the message Marlena left in there. No way do I deserve this, I swear.
Having fun on the dunes, Tanis? I made sure you would. Here's the deal. Your precious droids have trapped you. They'll hold you until you die of thirst. Make a mistake while repairing them, they explode. Have a good death. My mother was right about you.
That was unpleasant. Thanks for your help. I'd have been a goner. Hey, and the old bat thought I was dead. You never asked me for anything, but I consider my life worth something. Please, take this. I insist. What else could I give you? I need what I have to repair my droids and get back up and running. I suppose I do. It's pretty smart to appeal to what I think my safety is worth. Here, now if you don't mind, I have to limp these boys back to my shop. Hopefully Marlena didn't take the manuals with her.
How can I help? About my mother? I'm unsure. I seem to find it difficult to remain objective when it comes to her. I find that disturbing. I have my doubts as to whether she's actually sick. Mother used to lie about many things to get her way. She's a selfish woman who pushed my father into doing what she wished. Yes, I thought I'd let go of that anger. All my training and it comes back so quickly. I don't want to talk about this anymore. Let's keep going. How can I help? About my mother? I'm unsure. I seem to find it difficult to remain objective when it comes to her. I find that disturbing. Do you think I should? I would like to keep something to remember Father as much as she would. I'll think about it. I should try and remember my training. I should be able to let go of this, but I can't. I don't want to talk about this anymore. Let's keep going. What can I do?
Yes?
Have you even looked for the holocron yet?
I have the holocron, Mother. I'm just not sure I want to give it to you.
And why not? Would you deny me even that?
I've never denied you anything, Mother. You may think I don't remember what it was like before I left for the Order, but I do. You were the one who pushed Father to go on one treasure hunt after the other. You loved living in wealth. You think I don't remember the fights? You were eager to send me to the Jedi even though I didn't want to go. You took Father away from me. And now this holocron is all I have of him.
Fool girl. You have a strange way of remembering things. That wasn't...
No, I don't wish to argue with you any more, Mother. It's time we parted ways now, for both our benefit. You don't know her. My mother is notoriously deceptive when she wants something. Why should she have the holocron?
Is it too difficult to believe that I am a dying woman who simply wishes to see her husband one last time?
I find it difficult to believe anything you say, Mother. You're right. It shames me, but I find it difficult to let go of the past. I'm sorry, Mother.
I was hard on you, dear. I wasn't a very good mother to you. I know that. Your father loved you so. He wanted you to be just like him. He wanted to take you on his hunts, but I said they were too dangerous. I always tried to keep him from the dangerous ones, but he would have none of it. It was a reckless life we led, always moving. I didn't want that for you.
So that's why you gave me to the Order.
What do your father and I have to show for all those years of hunting? Nothing. That was no life for anyone, especially not someone as gifted as you, your father. He spent all his last years trying to pay for my treatments. That's why he went for the pearls. I begged him not to, but...
Your treatments.
I'm dying, Bastila. I did not lie about that. It's been a long time in the coming, and there's really nothing that can be done anymore. I told your father to let me go, but you know how he was. Stubborn, like you.
I'm so sorry, Mother. I don't know what to say.
Keep the holocron, Bastila. It would do me good to know you have it. This talking to you, this is what I really needed before
I know. Thank you. I'm glad we talked too.
Oh, no. You said you had important business, and you were never one to mince words. You there. You take care of my daughter, you hear me? That's good. I'll feel a lot better knowing there's someone to watch me.
Where are you going to go?
It doesn't matter, dear. Don't you worry about me.
Here, take these 500 credits. That's all I have. Go to Coruscant and find a doctor. I'll meet you there after what I have to do.
But I already told you there's nothing that can...
Please take it. I want to see you again when we can talk.
Oh, all right, I will. You do what you have to, Bastila. You go make your father and I proud.
I'll try. Farewell, Mother. Yes, that brought me a lot of peace. More than I thought it would have. Thank you for urging me toward it. After all my training, I would have thought it would have been easier. Apparently, I still have much to learn. How can I help?
Why?
I could not accomplish this on my own. I need the aid of others, especially one who is strong in the Force. The bond between us made you a natural choice. Besides, the events on Taris prove that the Force wanted to bring us together for this mission. And there is little left to chance when the Force is involved. Is that not enough for you? I said we were brought together for our mission, to stop Malak. I hardly think the Force would be pushing us toward a romantic involvement when the fate of the galaxy is at stake. Please try to stay focused. I doubt the Council would approve if they knew we were busy discussing our mutual attraction when we should be saving the galaxy from Malak. Mutual attraction? I never said... It's just an expression. Whatever your feelings, you have to try to ignore them. Don't let this complicate things. Finding the missing pieces of the star maps is our only hope of locating the Star Forge and defeating Malak. The Council explained all this quite clearly. I admit, there were times that I wondered if this is more than just a mission to stop Malak. There were times when I wondered if this was also a way for the Council to test my own abilities. I wondered if the Council wanted to see how I would help and guide you on our quest. I wondered if they were testing me to see if I was ready to become a Jedi Master myself. And then I realized how foolish such thoughts were. As the Council explained, sending a Master in our group would only have drawn unwanted attention from the Sith. The fate of the galaxy is at stake. The Council would not risk it merely to test me. They calculated the risks, and in the end chose the only option available. You must learn to trust in the wisdom of the Council. Your destiny will come in its appointed time. You mustn't be so impatient. Must you be so frustrating? I admit I had a moment of foolish pride, but I'm over it. Now I am focused on my true responsibilities. I'm simply trying to help you and complete this mission, and yet you battle me at every turn. I started it. You were the one who brought up the issue of the Council. You were the one who questioned our mission. You were the one who mocked me for thinking I was being tested. You are a very odd man. Do you know that? I simply don't know how to deal with you. All I want to do is help you, but you seem determined to drive me mad. I don't know if I should be outraged that you keep joking about serious matters, or if I should be grateful that you can always lighten the mood. Come on, come, let's move on. There's much to be done.
Hey there, what can I do for you? Don't worry. I won't let the search for Griff get in the way of what we're doing. Let's just get back to the Okay.